Do you want to return information from a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet for your Power Virtual Agents chatbot? In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a Power Virtual Agents topic that calls on a Power Automate flow to look up information in an Excel table and return it in a chatbot message. Before you get started, you'll want to make sure that your Excel data is in a table and that users have read access to the spreadsheet. In my Power Virtual Agents chatbot, I've already created a topic with trigger phrases and an opening message. If you aren't familiar with the basics on how to create a simple topic, be sure to watch the video I've linked in the description box below first. Next, add a question with options the user can select from. This will streamline the flow by allowing a user to specify how they'd like the bot to search the spreadsheet for the information. Rename this variable to something a bit more descriptive. Under the By Owner Name condition branch, add a question. Change this to person name and rename the variable. Under the By Project Name condition branch, add a question. Change this to user's entire response and rename the variable. Under the By Project ID condition branch, add a question. Change this to user's entire response and rename the variable. Save your topic before moving on. Add a new action and create a flow under the first branch. Select Power Virtual Agents Flow Template. Any flow that is created through Power Virtual Agents will start with a Power Virtual Agents action. This action will grab input values from your chatbot and pull them into the flow. Your flow will end with the return values to Power Virtual Agents action, which sends information back to the chatbot. Personally, I don't like editing my flows from within Power Virtual Agents. I'm going to name my flow and save it. I'll exit the flow by pressing Close. In Power Automate, I'll select my flow and continue editing from here. In the Power Virtual Agents action, add 4 text inputs. One for the search option that is selected, and one for each question response. Add a compose action. Select Search option from the dynamic content listed. Add a list rows present in a table action. Select your site, document library, file, and table. My table only has 15 rows of data, which isn't a lot. However, if your table has more rows than this, I would recommend using the filter query to filter and return a smaller set of data. Next, add a switch action. The switch action will allow us to run a specific set of actions based on the search option selected in Power Virtual Agents. In the On field, select the outputs from the compose action above. I'll create a case for each selection option. In the Equals field, I'll type in the text value of each option. Make sure that the format of this text matches the options listed in the chatbot. Let's save this flow and give it a test. Back in Power Virtual Agents, I will call an action here and select my flow. This action requires that you select where the values of the inputs are taken from. Because this is the Project Owner condition branch, I'll enter the word null for project name and project ID. I'll save the bot and test it out by typing in a trigger phrase. In Power Automate, I'm going to verify the input and check that the switch action is working correctly. Next, I'll add a compose action to each of these cases. Remember to rename your actions to keep things organized. I'll use these compose actions to return the question responses. I'll wrap each of the inputs in a toLower function to prevent any case sensitivity issues. Now, I'll add a filter array action. I'll insert the values from the list rows present in a table action here. Next, I'll add the owner dynamic content here. Since the input from the chatbot will be in lowercase, I want to convert the content from the owner column to lowercase as well. I'll insert a toLower function. Unfortunately, because I've inserted a function, I'm unable to select the owner dynamic content. To get around this, instead of using an expression, I'll insert the owner dynamic content here, and I'll change this to contains. If you leave it as is equal to, this action will be looking for an exact match. Insert the outputs from the compose action above here. It's important to note that this isn't a fuzzy match. The text that is inputted in must be contained within the text string of the column you are searching. Next, select Edit in Advanced mode. Don't bother trying to edit the content here because as you start to type, you'll see the cursor moves to the end of the expression. Instead, copy this entire expression to your clipboard and paste it into a text editor. Place your cursor right before the item text and insert toLower with an opening bracket. Next, place your cursor after the square bracket and insert a closing bracket. Copy this expression to your clipboard and overwrite the existing expression. Next, I'll add a compose action so I can easily see the length of the filter array. This will help with any troubleshooting. Add the length function and insert the outputs from the filter array action above here. I'm going to repeat this for the other cases. Save the flow. In Power Virtual Agents, I need to add the flow to these two other conditions. Remember to enter null for the fields where a variable isn't available to select. Save the bot, and let's test it out. Looks like everything is working. Now, we need to get the data back into the chatbot. The number of results returned from the filter array action will differ based on each of the switch cases. If more than one result is returned, we'll need to loop through each result. Initialize a variable above the switch action. We'll use this variable to store the filter array results. Change this type to array. Initialize another variable. We'll use this variable to store the array output as a string. Initialize one more variable. We'll use this variable to store the message we'd like to send back to the chatbot. Change this to string. In each of the switch cases, add a set variable action. Select the project array variable and set the value to the outputs of the filter array action above. If there aren't any results returned, we need a way to notify the user. Add a condition action. We'll use the length function to check and see if there are any items in the project array variable. Enter a 0 here. If the variable is equal to 0, meaning no results were returned, we'll use the results variable to store a message. Add a set variable action to the yes branch. Select the results variable. Enter a short message. If the variable is not equal to 0, meaning there are results, We'll use the results variable to store the project details or a list of projects and their respective details. Add and apply to each action. Insert the project variable here. This action will loop through each project return in the array variable. Add and append to string variable action. We'll use this action to generate a text string containing the project details. If multiple projects are returned, the action will add these details to the string each time it loops through a project in the project's array variable. Select the project's list variable. To access items within the array, we'll need an expression. Insert the item function. Place your cursor after the closing bracket and insert square brackets and single quotes. The text you put between the square brackets can be found in the output of your filter array action. For the project name, I'll enter project name exactly how it appears between the quote marks in the filter array output. I'll copy this expression to my clipboard so that I can use this for each piece of content I'd like to return to the chatbot. Add a set variable action outside the apply to each loop. Select the results variable. Insert the project list variable here. In the return values to Power Virtual Agents action, add a text output. Insert the results variable here. Save your flow. In Power Virtual Agents, add a message to each of your condition branches and insert the results variable. Note that the results variable name is different for each condition branch. Save the bot and test it out. I'll enter a trigger phrase and I'll select by owner so the bot returns more than one result. The bot works, but we still need to format the output from Power Automate. Power Virtual Agents accepts some markdown tags. First, I'll insert an empty line above the project name and I'll add a hashtag and a space before the project name. This will format the project name text as a level 1 header. I'd like to label the owner, priority, and progress. To do this, I will add my labels and place 2 asterisks on each side. To force each line of text onto its own line, add 2 empty spaces at the end of each line of text. Insert an empty line. Lastly, I'll insert a horizontal line at the end of each project with 3 dashes. Don't forget to add 2 empty spaces to the end. Save your flow and let's test it out. To display the progress of a project as a %, we'll need an expression. First, wrap this in a float function. Next, wrap the float function in a mul function. Place your cursor inside the closing bracket and add a comma and the number 100. I'll insert a % symbol right before the 2 empty spaces. Save your flow and test it out. Don't forget to publish your chatbot so that this content is available to your end users. What other topics are you interested in creating in Power Virtual Agents? Let me know in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful and are planning to add the functionality to look up items in an Excel spreadsheet to your chatbot, give this video a like. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any other Power Virtual Agents topic ideas. Thanks for watching.